Right. And shortly after that, Kanye had a sit-down interview with Harvey.
Yes, he had another sit-down interview with Harvey. What do you mean he had a sit-down interview with Harvey? Because he had a sit-down interview with Harvey at TMZ, and then he had another sit-down interview with Harvey at TMZ after that. Yeah,
exactly. You think maybe that was somewhat of a barter? Hey, take out the Hitler part, and I'll give you an actual sit-down interview again?
I don't know. I do know that had it been asked to get taken out, and it didn't get taken out, then you wouldn't have had a relationship with him to ask him come back. So it didn't even really necessarily have to be a bargain. It's like you do what the guy wants if you want to maintain a relationship with him where you could call him up and ask him to do stuff for you.
Right. And Harvey Levin is Jewish.
Yeah.
Did you talk to him or get his reaction to the whole I love Hitler and I love Nazis part?
No, it's not my business.
Got it.
Like the only reason why that was brought up afterwards, and I said it on the Higher Learning podcast, the only reason why I even brought it up is because it literally just popped in my mind. Like when he started doing that, I go, oh, I've heard that before. And so for me, this is my thing. People keep talking about that. He talked about my ancestors on there. He said slavery was a choice. Everybody wants to litigate what he meant by that or what he was trying to say. I took it as a slight to my ancestors. That's what I'm going to deal with. If they want to make the decision that they want to take that out, I'm not going back and forth about that. I did think it was interesting that Kanye didn't care about the slavery part being left in. It's something that he wanted to say, and nobody cared enough to take that out of the interview. So there's probably a lot of reasons why that's true, but for me, as far as him saying what he said, there was a producer in the office that stood up when he said that. So it wasn't my...
Okay, so when he said the whole I love Hitler or Nazi thing, what did the producer say?
He said, I'm Jewish and that offends me.
And what did Kanye say?
Nothing. He said, I'm Jewish and that offends me. He's like, I'm stood up, like, right, I'm Jewish. What you just said is offensive to me. He didn't say anything. He then goes on, like after that, a little while after that, he goes, does it feel like I'm speaking freely? And then that's when I say it doesn't feel like you're speaking, you're thinking anything. Yeah.
Right, because Kanye told Charlemagne the same thing. He said, I love Hitler and I love Nazis, and didn't understand what was wrong with that.
Sure.
So this came from you. This came from Charlemagne. This was before this whole Hitler rant that he did on Alex Jones. And I remember there was even a CNN story that came out maybe about a month ago.
Sure.
Because I guess that Kanye would say this in like Yeezy meetings and Adidas meetings and so forth, to the point where someone actually sued him for that, for a hostile work environment. And I remember when he came out, it was like all these people were like in an uproar. That's not true. There's no proof. The media's trying to slander Kanye again. Like they called me a liar for mentioning it. They called CNN liars and everything else like that. But lo and behold, a month later, it comes out where you can't. What are you going to say now?
I mean, look, people can think whatever they want to think about me. I don't give a fuck. But if you think I would make that up after all of this time, if you think that I would make that up, there's no way not everybody is going to come together in a vast conspiracy. That's what he thinks. Another thing is this, Vlad. When you do an interview with Kanye, I've known scores of people who've done interviews with Kanye, right?
I've interviewed Kanye before.
There's always a bunch of shit you have to take out. Not just about, there's stuff that have been taken out of interviews that Kanye has said about Virgil. There's been stuff that have been taken out of interviews that Kanye has said about Drake. There's been stuff that's been taken out of interviews that Kanye said. He goes through this whole thing, and then it's a stream of consciousness sort of rant that he goes on, right? And then after that, someone looks at the interview, they autopsy it, and they go, okay, this is what cannot be said. This is what might come off wrong, or this is what he didn't really mean. And then you got to cut the interviews up. So when the Tucker Carlson thing happened, and there were all of these outtakes from it, that wasn't like, to me, it's like that's how it goes when you interview him. There's always a bunch of shit he wants to come back and take out of an interview.